Buona Sarah do it. What up, y'all? Listen, this is Brother Dooley, aka the Beantown Ghetto Shaman. That's where I'm at. Sister Acacias and Mike Spa chilling. It's an honor. It's an honor to be here. We just finished the Detroit Psychedelic Conference. Amazing. If you was there, you missed out, my friend, because you had so many amazing teachers, speakers, ushering out their wisdom and their knowledge to the people. We had a wonderful ceremony. We had such a great time. I learned so much, man, and made a bond with great warrior brothers. We established a new brotherhood here on the next level. So I feel so appreciative of that. I feel appreciative of the Tamarian Institute, letting people know about that ancient African martial art wisdom, you know. And them brothers ain't no joke. They showed me some shit. Fuck your ass up. So yeah, it was beautiful, man. And then the memorial with Baba Kalindi. I've never seen a memorial like this in my life. Beautiful. I mean, I got real emotional that day, you know, because it didn't really hit me until that day. You know, maybe because we didn't have a, you know, maybe I can't speak for anyone else, but maybe for myself, I didn't want to accept that he was gone, you know, and not that he's gone, he's always around. You know, I seen Baba Kalindi one of the days over the weekend because, you know, I was taking the medicine, and especially when the brothers came in the room and started doing the martial art, I seen him in all white in the corner just smiling at us. And it was another brother that seen him too. So it was confirmed that so he's always around. And it's a blessing to let people know that even when our loved ones pass away, they're not really gone at all, you know? And that's why it's important to develop your spiritual eyesight, your third eye, so you could be able to see these loved ones and know that they're around you, you know? You could feel them, you could sometimes smell them, you can sometimes see them, you know. But develop your psychic abilities so you can have communion and connection with them when these ones transition to a next dimension or dimensional frequency. But yeah, the memorial was off the hook. It was off the hook. And I learned so much from Baba. Just hearing more people that knew him for years, that were his friends. And, you know, I was learning more about my teacher, man. And to this day, I don't think people understand who this elder was. You know, he was the Morpheus for our time. You know what I mean? If you didn't know, please research him. Please go look into learning more about this wonderful man because he was way beyond his time. All right. I was just learning something about the Plantier stone yesterday through my good friend Acacia. Um, just deep technology. You know, we have to understand that our indigenous ancestors, they were all way in. They knew what time it was, you know, and we're in the big shift now. You know, I'm learning more about the Ming Evening Zoo crystal and what its true purpose is. You know, I didn't even know, you know, Acacia brought it to my attention that even the emerald tablets were made through this great technology, this crystal here. So there's a lot for us to discuss and learn. But today I am doing a Reiki initiation for three of my good friends. We got Boyd in the house. So what up, Boyd? We got Sarah in the house. What up, Sarah? We got Mike in the house. What up, Mike? So we're gonna do a great Reiki initiation for them today, and myself, I got into Reiki maybe almost 20 years ago. And I used to work at a metaphysical bookstore near the Cambridge area. I'm from Boston, from Roxbury, born and raised. And when I first had Reiki done on me, her name was Janaki, this older white woman, and wonderful soul, wonderful being. And I remember Janaki said, Dooley, do you want to try Reiki? And I was like, what is Reiki? What is that? What are you talking about? And she's like, it's energy healing. Try it out. And I remember she did a session on me, and I wasn't so impressed, to tell you the truth. You know, I just to be 100, just to keep it honest. I felt little tingling sensations here and there, and I felt relaxed, but that was about it. Little did I know how powerful this practice is, and it was. When one day when she offered the class, they said, "Hey, Dooley, what do you want to take a class of it?" I went and I took the class, and it was one of the many best decisions I did in my life, because what I first learned is that for Reiki, there's many things you could do with Reiki. You could use Reiki for pain, you know. You could use Reiki for emotional, psychological issues. You could use Reiki for your own spiritual development. It becomes a practice for you, and you learn how to cultivate and channel this life force energy more and more. Um, what I'm even bringing to this talk today is even how you could use Reiki with psychedelics to take your journeys deeper. To use Reiki when you feel like you're on your journey and you might come across something that's maybe too intense for you or scary. How you could ground yourself within the psychedelic experience with Reiki. You know, sometimes when we're on the journey with the ethogens or the teaching plants and fungi, sometimes we go to dark, subconscious places where we might have swept certain trauma under the rug, per se. All right. Reiki can help assist you with that when that stuff comes up for you. You know, in the ayahuasca ceremonies and stuff, you see sometimes people when they're going through a hard time, they give them the rape or the hape to help ground them. Or they might see them smudge them with some sage or sweetgrass or maybe even mampacho tobacco. All things to help ground a person, bring them back into their body at that moment. Well, Reiki does the same thing. Reiki could be used as a tool even in ceremony setting when things might get too thick and you need that grounding or you need that balance for yourself. It's beautiful. Reiki's beautiful because in one way, um, I've used it in so many situations, but one way you could use it definitely is for stress. And we live in a stressful environment sometimes. Living in America, living in the United States, living in this place when we're bombarded. I remember when we was driving down here to Detroit. We stopped at a at a gas station. I walked in there, you could feel the energy. She got the news blasted on, and it's all this negativity being spilled through this television. All right. At that point, it's talking about the corona. It's talking about that spot that just recently got bombed. I forgot, but Lebanon. So I walk in there, I'm already open from the medicine, and I'm hearing all this fear coming from this television. And that woman is like, and then I could feel the vibration of the woman working there. She's sucking all that fear up. You know what I mean? Because I walked in there with no shoes on. I was like, that's a whole nother story of how we drove down to Detroit. That's a whole nother story. Oh my God. I was, at that point, I was feeling it. So I'm walking on, I'm like, I don't need no shoes, nothing. I'm walking in there. She's like, excuse me, sir. You need shoes in here. Oh man, it was beautiful, man. I mean, yeah, I'll tell you one thing about coming down. Whitney Houston, call on Whitney Houston for generating the divine love in you. If you want to working on opening up that heart chakra. Good ritual you could do for that is play the song, The Greatest Love of, what is it? The Greatest Love of All. The Greatest Love of All. That whole song, if you really listen to it, really on even the medicine, is showing you how to love yourself. Because you got to start with you. See, getting goosebumps. All right, shit is real. You got to love yourself first and cultivate the love within you so you can learn to love another. You know, why we deal with so many divorces, why we deal with so many cheating and dysfunctional relationships, is because the people don't know how to love themselves first. They come into that relationship with their baggage already, and then, they throw that shit on their partner. And that's not right. You know what I mean? So we have to learn how to love ourselves first, learn how to clear the trauma, learn how to do all these things so you can learn to love yourself so you can authentically love another human being or another being. Okay? So do some rituals with Whitney Houston. And she showed me some stuff, boy. She said, open up the sunroof. Now I want you to do this particular mudra to break through the barrier. because there is a barrier that they trying to put around this motherfucking earth, and that's why you have the chemtrails. That's why you have the nanobots and all those things, because they're trying. I got it downloaded from this another time when I did this Native American dance in my kitchen. They showed me, the ancestors showed me. They are trying to block the rays to certain information that's coming in right now. You know what I mean? That's going to activate your DNA. That's going to open you. These people are so arrogant that they think they can outsmart nature, outsmart spirit, great spirit. So Whitney told me, do these mudras as the energy goes through you right now, through your crown chakra, so you could break the barrier. Whitney Houston's deep. Put on her on your altar, y'all, because she's an incarnation of our set, Mama Isis. You have to understand the archetypes. Who walks with the archetypes? Tupac came to me that day. You know what I mean? Tupac. Yeah, that's Shango all day. You know what I mean? You gotta know the archetypes. Old Dirty Bastard came to me. Old Dirty Bastard is Ishu, Legba. You know what I mean? These are the archetypes, and you see them. And remember when I was talking about ODB and we got out of the car and went to get something to eat at that stop spot? Yeah. Who was there serving me? Dude was a son of Legba. He was a trickster all the way, talking jokes. Who would win in a fight, the gorilla or the rhino? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He was a trickster. You know what I mean? He was a Legba. You know what I mean? And because that energy was channeling me through that moment, signs and symbols for the conscious mind. This, the universe speaks to us in symbols. They let me know this is the reflection of you right now. This is what's going on. This is what you're tapping into at this moment. You know what I mean? I could have stopped anywhere to get something to eat. But no, they speak to you. The universe is constantly speaking to you. All right? Yeah. So, Reiki, my friends. Reiki. Reiki was developed by this wonderful man named Dr. Usui. He was born in the late 1800s. Don't quote me, when it comes to dates and stuff, don't quote me on all that stuff. But he was born in the late 1800s. And the story goes that Dr. Usui one day was asked by a student, do you really feel we can heal like Jesus or like Buddha? The Jesus reference, I'm not sure it was totally true, because one of his other top students down in the lineage was Mama Takata. And Mama Takata from Hawaii was a great businesswoman and great. She knew how to package things in a way, and she knew, like, let's throw the Jesus guy in there. So, it's great. We'll talk about her in a second. But Dr. Usui, he got asked this question. And because it was told that he felt he was embarrassed because he didn't know the answer, it got him on a quest to look about this healing, this hand-on healing thing. They say he went many places to learn, but he said the closest he got to unraveling this thing was in India, where he came across some ancient sutras that explain the art of hands-on healing. But he didn't have a live teacher to transmute those teachings and activate it within him. So he was still getting frustrated. It brought him back to Japan. Forgot the name of the famous mountain it was on. It starts with M. It'll come to me in a second. But he spent a 21-day meditation fasting. On the 20th day, on the morning of dawn, the sun was rising, still dark. He said that it was told that a big light came, looking like a meteorite, came, and he said, should I move? Somebody told him to just stand still, and it hit him in the third eye. When it hit him in the third eye, he started seeing these geometric symbols encased in these energetic bubbles that were going all around him. He didn't know at the time, but later found out that these were the various sacred Reiki symbols. Okay? And we could talk about that later, and how Reiki symbols are more for Reiki 2 practitioners, Reiki 2 and 3. Reiki 1, you're activating your chakras in your hand, your Lagong point, all right? And opening up any blocked channels. or meridian points or the nadis in your body. That's what's going on when someone gets a attunement or initiation with the Reiki. Because don't get it twisted. People could do Reiki or energy healing themselves without an initiation. All right. I've met plenty of people that do Reiki who have never took the initiation before, including one of my ex-girlfriends. All right. But doing the attunement is just like tuning up your hands, to make sure they're on full blast. All right. And also the difference between Reiki and, say, for instance, other modalities surrounding hands-on healing is that you're not using your own life force energy. You hear about a lot of healers over the years of doing healing work for years. They start to get depleted. And why are they getting depleted? Is because they're using their own personal life force energy. You're over, if I could put it in a symbol, it's like you're overdrafting your energy account, right? And you're not putting more savings or more stuff in your savings account. You're not cultivating. You're putting more out than you're bringing back in. And that's why you see a lot of wounded healers. That's why you see a lot of sick healers, per se. But Reiki is different because you're not using your own personal energy. You're tapping into the universal energy, the life force that is all around us. And thus, you're tapping into that and being a channel. That's all you're being, a channel at that moment to be able to have that energy come through you to help that person. Another way we could look at this approach to healing is the resonance theory. All right? The resonance theory is when you look from a scientific point of view, you see there was an example of this man talking about various grandfather clocks all being aligned on a wall, right? The most dominant tick from the greatest grandfather clock puts all the other clocks in same alignment, the same ticking. They could all be at starting off at different ticks, like tick, 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 tick. But the one that has the most dom, dom, will eventually, because this is all about vibration and energy, eventually have the rest of them in alignment. That's the same thing where they see in that they found out at college dorms, at college dormitories. The woman on the floor that has the most dominant vibration, right? You'll see that all the women that are in close proximity to her will start to have the same period. They will start to menstruate at the same time as this one dominant woman on that floor in the dorm. It's deep. So we call this the resonance theory. You know what I mean? And that's essentially what you're doing as a Reiki practitioner. You're bringing up your energy to the point that the person that you're working on, because no one is really healing anyone. We heal our own self. All right? So get off the ego shit, y'all. Oh, I'm the healer, I'm the master. Stop that shit. Stop that fucking shit. All right? Get off your shit. All right? And we got a story for y'all about humbling too. How I got initiated by the Agara. But that's another thing, different thing. We gotta go there for a second. We don't heal anyone. We assist a person in rising their vibration so their body can naturally do what it's supposed to do. You see? You understand? That resonance theory. So you channeling that energy and you're working on that person and you're literally rising their vibration so they can be in alignment to do their own work. All right? So that's a good way of you getting out of the way thinking you're the shit. All right? Now I'm going to tell you about the Agori, or Agori, Ahori, Agori, or whatever. I'm not pronouncing it right, but y'all know them. These are the brothers that are and sisters that are severely feared in India. All right? They're looked at as the weirdos. All right? They chill in the cremation ground, and that's their hangout spot with the dead people. All right? You'll see them drinking urine or piss from a human skull, even eating their own feces. And these people, the people on the outside look at them as either one, they're crazy, or they're possessed by some fucking demons. Now, what these yogis are about, they're about going beyond duality. They're going out beyond the so-called good and the bad. They're not attached to either one. All right? The crazy wisdom masters, you're here about a lot of them on that same level as well, using their vices, their so-called vices as a tool for the enlightenment. You see? So if I'm dealing with a problem of gluttony, let me meditate on gluttony to be able to understand enlightenment. If I'm dealing with a level of lust and desire, let me use my desire and lust as my tool for enlightenment. They flipped the script. But anyways, I'm in the gas station, but I have to go to the bathroom, right? I gotta take a dump. And I go in the bathroom. It's a dirty ass random fucking gas station place. And you know, my grandmother, she's from down south. She raised brother well, right? So she's like, you better put that toilet paper on your seat, on your toilet seat. You don't know who sat there or whatever. So I'm doing what my grandma raised me to. I put my damn toilet paper on the seat right about to sit down. And I hear her voice. It says, what are you scared of? What is this whole thing of bacteria and germs? You are God. God is not scared of germs. Right? So I hear the voice. When the teachers and the ancestors start coming to me like that, I'm disciplined. I listen. So I say, okay. They say take the toilet paper off the toilet thing. So I take it right off, and I sit my black ass up right on the motherfucker, right? So I was like, man, this is deep. First time I did this is interesting. So then it doesn't stop from there. I hear a voice again. They say, now I want you to lick. It was like the toilet paper roll thing that you put the toilet paper thing in. They wanted me to lick the outside of it. It had a little dust, all kinds of shit on it. I'm like, are you sure? I was like, we want you to lick that. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And I knew I was being tested, right? Because they test you in different ways to see where you're at, your commitment to your own spiritual development. All right? Going beyond your fear, all those things. So I said, you know what? Okay. Here we go. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what I mean? To a big old lick, right? So in the back of my mind, a second, I hope you don't get that coronavirus. I hope you don't get that coronavirus. I hope you don't get that COVID-19. So I had to shut the ego mind, the back of my mind. I said, shut the fuck up. You scaredy ass, bitch ass motherfucker. You know what I mean? This voice ain't going nowhere. That voice want to keep me earthbound. Fuck you. Make over. I said, fuck you. And then I started talking to ancestors after that, the Magor. I said, y'all want me to lick the floor too? Got a nice little piss. I think that's some other shit right there. It's like, no. It said, no. You proved yourself. You're fine. You know what I mean? But I got initiated that day. That same day, you know, I had to go to the bathroom too, right? So I didn't want to be the one. I'm with Sir and born there in front of a tribe. Like, oh, Dooley got to piss again. I don't want to be the one that have to, we trying to get to Detroit. Oh, he got pissed. Make a stop and piss again. Oh, Dooley. So I said to myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to piss in this car. I said, yo, Born, I was like, hey, Thunder, excuse me, and put my hat on my joint, put this right here in that little bottle and try to make this happen. As I'm doing this and trying not to piss on myself, another voice comes, say, you know what? Drink your piss. I said, oh, excuse me? I was like, hey, drink your piss. You're going to honor the Sumerian shamans. Because if you don't know, the Sumerian shamans in Russia over there, they used to drink their piss. They used to watch, the people used to watch the reindeer, you know, after the shaman pull his joint out, doing his thing the whole night, boom, 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 pull it out, yeah, go bathroom. You start noticing the reindeer would go over there trying to lick, you know, his piss. And people would notice, they would go into a trance-like state, the reindeer. That's the whole mythology of Santa Claus and all that. The flying reindeer and all these other things. The shaman, the Sumerian shaman of the Tungus period. Siberia, excuse me, that was Russia. Siberia, excuse me, thank you, boy. You know what I mean? See that they in Siberia, they daggone would go, because so much snow, they go down the daggone chimney and give the mushrooms to the local people, the presents. You know what I mean? The symbolism, the many symbolisms of Santa Claus. And also being dressed as the particular mushroom. What's it called? The
Amanita muscaria.
yeah, mushroom, which is red and white. So it's not a coincidence that Santa was red and white. You know, it's all showing you right there. All right. So the shaman would piss and he would pass around a cup of his piss to the congregation, to the people there. And they would all get fucked up off his piss. So they told me to honor the Siberian shamans and to drink my piss right there. So I was drinking it. I was like, man, this shit ain't that bad. It tastes better than Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? And Thunder Voice is looking at me like, yo, what? I was like, yeah, I know. You ain't never gonna meet a friend like me. It's all good. It was deep, man. Then I called my wife after tomorrow. I was like, hey, listen, you know what they told me earlier? You know, to lick the thing in the bathroom. My wife's like, she's like, dude, are you possessed? I was like, no. I was like, yo, no. I was like, yo, this is initiation. And she got it. And I was like, also, yo, I'm drinking my piss, by the way. It's better than Coca-Cola. So you gotta make fun of yourself every day. It's important. Don't get too caught up. Don't get too rigid to think, you know, Mama Shuna teach you that. So yeah, back to Reiki. Dr. Usui was on this journey to learn about the healing, and they brought him to many places of travel. And him going to this mountain and meditating for so long, and having this bright light hit him in the forehead and seeing these sacred symbols. He had a couple of miracles that happened after that. First, he started running down that mountain because he was so excited on what happened, and he stubbed his toe, and his toenail totally came off of his foot. He put his hand over his foot, and he felt extreme heat coming from his hand, and he held it there for so many minutes. And when he took his hand off, his toe was back on his foot. The second miracle is when he went down to the bottom of the mountain, and there was a place for the meditators to eat, a small little restaurant thing for the local people. He went in there, and anyone that knows about fasting, long fasting, knows that after you come down from a fast, you don't supposed to eat a lot of solid food like that. If anything, eat a little, salads or maybe light food or soup or what have you. And but Dr. Usui started ordering all this food, right? And the woman that worked there was like, I don't think this is a good idea. You should start off slow. It looks like you just came from a big meditation thing. And he said, no, I'm fine. And that was the second miracle. He started eating all this big food without any problem with his digestive system. Third miracle, you seen a woman that was there that had a toothache. And he's like, oh, it seems like you got something going on with your tooth or your jaw there. Can I help you? And he did Reiki right there for her, and he relieved her totally and healed her of her toothache. Fourth miracle is when he seen one of his Shinto Shinto priest teachers, and the guy had arthritis, and he healed him of the arthritis in his knees. So those were the miracles that came along with Dr. Usui. In Dr. Usui's early development, he would go to the slums in Japan, and he would heal a lot of people for free. Just randomly going around and heal. And he had different ways of healing. Well, I'll talk to you briefly about the hand positions and things of that nature. But Dr. Usui would heal like 5 people at a time. So he would shoot Reiki out of his eyes, he would shoot Reiki out of his ears, he would shoot Reiki out of his hands, he would shoot Reiki out of his feet. You know what I mean? So he would do all these things and would know how to heal many people at one time. You see? He was a deep healer. What he noticed going to those slums many years later, sometimes 4 or 5 years later, he would see the same people that he healed that were homeless, that were going through different things, and see those same people get better and come back years later back in the same situation. And like I was saying to Born, Sarah, and Mike in Thunder earlier, is that you can't give healing to someone. People would want, they're gonna have to want it. You know what I mean? It's like someone, like, no disrespect to the 7 Day Adventists, but this is not proselytizing. This is not saying I'm gonna knock on your door and shove this down your throat. Because we make karmic agreements even before we come to this earth. And it's all development for our soul, for our spirit. Not soul, because our soul is perfect, but our spirit. You know, it's for our own development. You know what I mean? So if a person made an agreement to say they're going to become a bum or a crackhead or whatever this lifetime, who are you to say, I'm the savior of you, I'm going to save you? You don't even know what they might have even did in their past life. They might even be trying to clear their karma for certain crazy shit they even did in lifetimes ago. And in that case, you might be up there fucking up their whole development, their own spiritual development. You see? When I first learned about Bufo taught me that God can be anything. God, you know, the Great Spirit told me, yes, I am the crackhead. Yes, I am the prostitute. Yes, I am the holy man as well. I'm all these things. And I remember Great Spirit told me that it created itself to know itself. Because it's constantly seeking wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, overstanding. All right? So yes, it will come through to say, yes, I want to be the crackhead this lifetime. Because I'm living through this individual to understand what is the wisdom to understand what addiction is about. And how to beat addiction. You know what I mean? Or what it means to be a failure, or all any of these things. Because God, again, is constantly seeking itself. And it will not know itself without us. It's everything. That's why when you see some of the yogis, I forget what book it was, when this yogi was talking about when he became enlightened, it screamed. That's what I did, my first beautiful experience, because I was like being reborn again. I went through the cosmic womb. You know what I mean? That's why some people, even at the psychedelic conference, said, oh, Dooley, the Beantown Ghetto Shaman, I did not know that was you. I didn't recognize you. I said, you're not going to recognize me because I'm constantly evolving. My face, my aura, everything will not look the same a month from now. Even some of the things from my old video will contradict where I'm at now because I'm constantly growing. That's how deep psychedelics are even. I mean, these teaching plants and fungi, the rapidness of your progression, if your heart is in the right place, is off the hook. That's why I could see even people from the old Detroit psychedelic conferences, no shade on anyone, but I could see where people are mentally and spiritually. I'm like, okay, he's not really going in with the medicine that much. You know what I mean? Because he's like at the same place where I seen him 5 years ago. If you're doing this work, you should be making rapid change every second if you're really serious about this path. So yeah, you're not going to recognize me because I'm constantly growing. Okay? That's why I didn't even stop calling myself the Beantown Ghetto Shaman, because that's all ego. And I never called myself that. People started calling me that because they started seeing me starting cars on the street and in the hood, you know, with my energy. So it's like, yo, that's the ghetto shaman. But, you know, sometimes you do things to please people and stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay, y'all could call me that. But y'all could call me a piece of shit for all I care. Because it's not about me. It's about just the message, and that's it. Don't get caught up in the personality. You know? That's why the old lamas used to say, don't praise me. Don't put me on a pedestal. That's just going to get me in my own way. If anything, insult me. And if I have a reaction, that shows that I have more work to do. You see? So, back to this Reiki thing. So, what Dr. Usui was trying to install in people and let people know was that from that lesson, from that earlier time of just going to the slums of Japan and healing people, is that people are going to want it. As Yashua or Isa would say, don't throw those pearls to swine. That's how you deplete yourself too, for y'all healers out there. You know, you're giving all this wonderfulness to someone who's not open for it. You just threw that energy somewhere. You know what I mean? If you're gonna give it to someone who's receptive to it. They'll appreciate it and they'll grow tremendously to help others. You know what I mean? So that's what's his lesson, to let you know, first of all, we don't proselytize. We don't shove this down anyone's throat. If you're a Reiki master or whatever, teacher, you'll know when your students arrive. You'll know the ones that you post to initiate. You know what I mean? The hand symbols, the symbols, the hand positions and all that started to come more later with Dr. Hayashi. Dr. Hayashi was one of Dr. Yusui's main students. Maybe we could get a picture, if y'all can pull up the picture of these guys on their phone so I could show, so you could have a visual of these people that I'm talking about. Dr. Hayashi was a doctor, a physician, but also a military man. I was talking about POA earlier. I forgot that I got initiated into POA. And POA.
So what is this supposed to look up?
Oh, Hayashi.
Hayashi.
H-A-Y, no, H-A,
Hayashi.
Y-A-S-H-I. And then
Gotcha.
put what? Hayashi. POA was initiation because I was into Tibetan Buddhism. Is there a question? Huh?
Happening.
All right.
So yeah.
Good.
Are we back on?
Nope.
No? Okay, still trying to fuck with us.
Camera's facing the wrong way.
Okay, let's go back around. They try to stop the message, but they can't. Okay.
It's my face.
Hey,
No, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Okay. Okay, we back on then. It's all good.
My phone won't even pull it up right now either.
Yeah, you see what's going on.
Yeah.
You see what's going on. It's okay. That's when you do Reiki and you send it to the source.
Yeah.
You can see in your mind's eye who's doing it right now. They could be on the computer board or whatever. You send. Sometimes I used to take heads. I don't take heads no more. I just send them love. You know, just send love to them and let them know that you can't stop, even if it's AI. We time travelers. So AI already advanced itself to enlightenment. So even the plan that it thought it was, because everything supposed to evolve. I'm telling y'all. I'm really telling you the truth. Some of us are time travelers, you know. Man, a few time travelers this weekend at the Detroit Psychedelics Conference. Big up to all the time travelers. Yeah, I was talking about Dr. Hayashi. And I remember that I got an initiation because I was into Tibetan Buddhism in the early 2000s. And that and also Qigong and Tai Chi and all that really helped me out as a teenager and also in my early 20s because I was a very angry individual. You know, I didn't grow up with my mom. They try to label her schizophrenic. There was a lot of gangs, a lot of stuff in the 80s, a lot of crack. And all the black communities across the United States. So I was angry. I seen a lot of injustice growing up. Seen a lot of police brutality, a lot of things, and I didn't know how to handle that. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, this is fucked up. You know, and it was by God's grace, grace that I got into these things, which allowed me to learn how to channel and deal with some of that anger and depression and suicidal thoughts and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I was into POA, and POA was a great practice where the Tibetans used to see where you were at spiritually by seeing if there was an opening in the soft part of your head. You know, as babies, we have the soft part. There's a particular grade of grass that grows in Tibet where if they could poke a hole through there, they see that you've been making progression with the POA practice. But it's a practice that you could use also to exit your consciousness. So this is what some people say Hayashi did. because he did not want to serve in the war. Was it World War I that we was dealing with the Japanese, or was it World War II? I forgot.
Yeah,
I think it
I'm
was
not
World
sure.
War I, right? Yeah, Pearl Harbor and
Yeah,
stuff.
'cause-
Don't get me on dates and all that stuff, but he didn't want to serve, basically. And he refused to serve, so he exited his consciousness. And he told his students, like, the next day I'm gonna be gone. This is gonna be the next one that's going to continue the tradition of the Reiki and all that. So, you know, you hear that a lot about yogis and certain holy men and women that know how to leave their body and die when they want to. So they seen him, you know, transition just like this in Lotus Posture. Said boom, left, and it was like that. You know what I mean? So that's Dr. Hayashi. Dr. Hayashi was the one that actually came up with the Reiki hand positions. In traditional Reiki, there's about 11 to 13 positions. I'll go over them real quick with you. All right? This is good if you have any headaches at all. If you do these like 3-4 positions for your head, headache gone. If you're dealing with a lot of mental, anxiety, depression, any mental shit, gone with these ones. Over the face, side of the head, on top of the head, back of the head. All right? Any mental stuff, any worry, anxiety, depression, do that. And also with the stomach and heart, you know, to balance that. Because you hear about the second brain is, the first brain actually is the gut, as you know. This is the second brain. So that's why we get the butterflies in the stomach, the intuition and all that. That's your first brain. So doing those hand positions plus the heart and the stomach, yeah, that will deal with any depression, anxiety, or any of those things of that nature. All right? So we start off with this, boom, 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 right? So then how many positions is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, neck. 6, I do the shoulders. 7, heart. 8, solar plexus. 9, navel area, second chakra. 10, now you, of course, you do this over a person. When you're working with somebody, you know what I mean? Put your hands on someone's, you know what I mean, private spots. So, you know, you could put your hand kind of hovering over that area, right? Just for respect, right? And then, what's that, 9?
Yeah.
10, knees, right? 11, feet. 12, lower back, all right? Now, when you're working with someone else, you'll see there's 2 other places on the back when you're working with someone else, okay? But that's a complete healing in itself with all the hand positions, right? That's if you have time for yourself to do that. And you'll know how long to spend on a particular place. How will you know? You'll feel, first of all, your intuition will tell you, okay, it's time to go to another area. Also, you could pay attention to the heat in your hands. When you're calling on the Reiki, which I'll teach y'all, just say Reiki on. You could say that outwardly or mentally. Sometimes you won't even have to say Reiki on. You'll notice sometimes where it's a person that needs healing, you'll walk by them and your hands will start heating up. Or your aura will just start giving off the healing Reiki energy, which you'll be standing in the presence of somebody. And all of a sudden you'll feel your whole body tingling or your hands heating up and you're like, oh shit, you know, this person needs some healing in front of me right now, you know? So sometimes you'll notice that you don't even have to call it on, that it'll automatically come on by itself in certain situations. But yeah, you'll know when to move. Usually sometimes a minimum of 5 minutes, usually at one spot, but usually you'll feel the heatness come down, or it's okay, it's coming down, it's telling me to move on to another area. Certain areas you might just do a second. You're like, oh, I don't really need that, there's not much work over there. I need more work on my stomach than that area. I'm good over there, you know what I mean? Or I need more work over here than there, you know what I mean? Also, you'll notice that just pay attention to the different sensations. The heat, the coolness in your hand. Sometimes you'll feel coolness. Sometimes you'll feel like electricity type of things going through your hands and stuff. There's all kinds of things you can pay attention to know that the Reiki energy is flowing through you, all right? Sometimes you won't feel anything. And that doesn't mean that it's not working either. You know what I mean? You just have to have faith in yourself to know that you know what you're doing. All right? Sometimes I work on people, been doing this almost 20 years with the Reiki. So people that are beginning sometimes might say, I don't feel anything. Just have faith. Keep on working on it every day, you know? Because when you cultivate energy, sometimes it takes, like Qigong or anything else, sometimes it's a building block process for you to learn the sensitivity. You know, I'll never forget, I was smack dead in the hood. You know, we was up near Washington Park, that's in Roxbury. I was talking about this healing stuff, and you know, I was with some real street niggas, you know what I mean? And one of them, I could see on his face, he was doubting. I was like, yo, come over here, man. We gonna talk. Me and you, we gonna go over there, right? I pulled him to the side. We just walked over a little further from the homies, and I just emitted the energy from my hand over his face. To this day, I don't know what the brother seen, but the dude just started crying. Just started crying. And he's like, man, that shit's real, man. He just kept on saying, he said, that shit's real, man. You know what I mean? And he walked up, and the other homies was there, like, yo, man, what's the matter, bro? You know what I mean? Like, yo, what did dude do to you, guys? And he's like, yo, man, he just kept on saying, yo, that shit's real, bro. That shit is real. You know what I mean? And so we unlock things. And especially when you do healing, you have to be a sensitive, open-hearted, compassionate individual, a non-judgmental individual, because you will see all kinds of things when you're working with people, and you can't judge them. You know what I mean? I'll never forget. It was one woman I was working with. It felt like my hands were like a magnet over her body, and I couldn't move them if I wanted to. It was like, zzz, and she started crying and yelling uncontrollably. And I said, do you want me to stop it? I was like, is everything okay? And she's like, no, please continue, please continue. And she shared with me at the end of the session that she got molested as a little girl several times. And as you know, just that whole area there, the first chakra, second chakra, that's all dealing with that type of energy. And that's why it wasn't a coincidence that I felt like my hands were like a magnet, literally like couldn't move them, like it was like woof. And so you gotta be sensitive. You never know what a person's background is, what they've been going through, you know, and just be mindful of that when people lay on your table and you're working with someone and stuff. You have to be a person that's very non-judgmental when you're dealing with people. You know what I mean? Because, again, we don't know what we're dealing with here, you know? There was another time I was dealing with another woman. I've seen these negative spirits jump out of her. And it was this dark, smoky shit, but they had these very sharp lines to them. They looked like thunder lightning bolts in a way. But they came out of her stomach, and I seen them. They were like, and she started screaming. He came out of her, like 3 of them, and she's ah, ah. I had to get the motherfuckers out of her house.
Wow.
It gets real sometimes. You know what I mean? And sometimes we don't know what we're even carrying. You know? Sometimes we don't know what we're even carrying. You know, that's why I gave an example of what I went through at my talk at the Detroit Psychedelics conference. I brought it up that me and my wife was going through some things, and she wasn't being intimate with me at that time, and I put my personal business out. I'm an open book, you know what I mean? I do that because I do it so people, if somebody else is going through something similar, they know that they're not alone, and maybe they can learn something from this.
Right.
So I use myself as an example many times as teaching. But I'm not the cheating type dude, you know. So I was going through my stuff, and you know, I was like, man, I still need to, you know, channel my sexual energy and move that energy and stuff. Becoming more addicted to the point. It was had to be something I had to watch every day. And I remember I did a healing with my good friend Kari, who had a stroke, and that healing. Just that story with him, that healing was something else that day too, because his bedmate seen me shape and have my voice change, everything, and that's when the spirit came through the window, I was using the tuning forks, and the brother had spontaneous movements that he didn't have since he went to the rehab. It was deep, but I remember riding my bike home from that healing, and I was still in a very high vibrational space. And I remember seeing these two entities that was attached to my auric field, and two of them were directly associated with the porno. You know what I mean? They was these demonic looking two of them. And I remember I seen them. I did this type of mutra thing, and these astral scissors came out my hand, and I said clip clip, and they were off my auric field. And ever since that day, never watched porno again. You know what I mean? I remember when I was in that state of mind, watching that porno, very lustful thoughts, very looking at women as like, ooh, you know what I mean? I can understand the beauty of a woman, you know? That's like admiring a flower. That's nothing wrong with that. There's beauty all around us. But there's a difference between admiring beauty and then going to the next level of lust and, all this other stuff. That's something different, So, that was just a karmic lesson for me. And it's just to let people know that even when you think you're woke, there's always something more to work on. There's always something more to clear. There's always something more to learn. That's why a lot of these people are like, I'm woke, and a lot of that's outward shit. They watched a couple of videos, they think they're awake now, or they wear the ankh or the kufi, and nah, man, this is an inner journey. Like I told people this whole weekend, this is an inner journey. This is a journey about you, not about looking the part. You know what I mean? Or speaking the lingo. Hotep this, peace queen this, all this other shit. You know what I mean? Anyone could, a parrot could do that. Hotep! You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's easy. You could train a monkey to say, Hotep! You know what I mean? Come on, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? No disrespect to anybody, but shit is real. You know what I mean? Shit is real. You gotta deal with you. But with back to Usui though in Reiki. Dr. Hayashi was the one that came up with the hand symbols. And what I just showed you was a complete healing that you could do on yourself. Like you'll notice that it'll be like 5 minutes or less that you can use on each position. You might want to use more time if that's called for that particular part of your body. Also, if you don't have time, we call this aura scanning. Call it aura scanning. Say, for instance, you're at school or you're at your job and you have a fucking dickhead fucking supervisor. All right? At that point, you say, excuse me, to your supervisor, I have to go to the bathroom. You go to the bathroom, you're in the stall, you do a quick healing on yourself. You go over your auric field. And I teach people in my class, you'll feel the sensitivity of the areas that need healing in that area. And you could do all kind of movements, like you could see me doing this, going in and out of my auric field, doing brushing. If you feel like something's funky on your auric field, brushing it off on you and making it go down to Mother Earth and being transmuted or Father Sky. You could do little movements like, ooh, you'll find your own style. There's no way of doing, especially aura scanning. There's no particular way of doing that. You'll feel like, I feel something behind here. Let me get that. Let me do this little movement here. That's helping clear that up. I see that. Okay, let me do something like here. They're telling me to do this type of movement. Aura scanning is more creative. Really no rules to that and to doing that. And it's a much faster process if you got to do something real quick. Like, I'm at a court date, I'm nervous, I don't know what's going on, I'm standing in front of this magistrate, let me do this to ground myself real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Go over there, boom, 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 boom. I'm good. You see? So that's a faster technique if you don't have the time and luxury to do a complete traditional hand symbol Reiki healing. What else? Let's go to Mama Takata. Mama Takata, and is your phone working now to see if you can get some pictures of these people? Mama Takata is the one who really brought Reiki into the United States in the 80s. Her story goes that she was very sick. Her husband died and she became a widow. The pressure of being a widow, not having a lot of money, really got to her to the point that she physically got sick. The story goes that she went to the doctor and a voice came to her saying that you don't need this operation. That asked the doctor or whatever, which she did. She went along with what the voice told her to do. And what happened is this particular doctor was a student as well of Dr. Hayashi. So he said, yeah, Dr. Hayashi has a healing center down the street. You should check him out, which she did. And she got healed in the process of working so many sessions with Dr. Hayashi's school. At first, when she got her first session, she thought that the people that were doing the Reiki, the way Dr. Hayashi had it set up too, is he had several people work on an individual, which you could do, which makes the Reiki process even more powerful. So say, for instance, we're all doing Reiki, and somebody's here and say, okay, you get his feet, I get his head, you get his side, and we're all beaming energy into that individual, which could be a very powerful experience. But so Dr. When she was on the table receiving the Reiki from several practitioners, she thought they had literally some machinery up their sleeve. So she's like, oh no, what's going on here? And because she's feeling all this heat and this energy. So what's happening here? And she got intrigued by the process and even getting healing. And she said, I have to learn this. Now, there was a lot of patriarch bullshit going on in Japan at that time. And there was some shit about women learning Reiki and all that. Shit don't stop with this patriarch shit. So there wasn't that many women practitioners. So she was very lucky to be able to, that's a picture of Hayashi, Mama Takata. Oh yeah, that Mama Takata right there. And she's the one that brought it to the United States.
Did it again.
All right. Oh, it's doing it again? Once again. All right, let's turn the camera around. And it seemed like I have a lot of questions. I will answer your questions at the end of this video. Don't worry, we'll get to your questions and comments, okay? Thank you. Okay, shut the house. Y'all got a treat if you see Acacia. I don't know who this woman is. Look her up. She is a great person to see. All right, I love her so much. All right? Yeah, it's my mother. Yeah, my mother teacher here. So, yes, I was talking about Mama Takata. Mama Takata got healed. She got inspired. Thank you for that, Sage. Thank you.
Yeah.
She got inspired and she went back to Hawaii, and then eventually she brought the information to the United States. I believe she initiated 22 Grandmaster Reiki Masters, I believe, from her lineage. And from these 20-some masters broke off into various styles of Reiki. You have so many styles of Reiki now, it's deep. You know, you have Runa Reiki, you have Shambhala, I'm a Shambhala Reiki master myself. You have Sekam Reiki, which is Egyptian Reiki, I'm initiated in that as well. You got so many different Reikis out there,
Right.
you know what I mean? And a lot of them have their own style. A lot, you might want to just take the turn that off for a second. Yeah, you have various styles of Reiki, right? And each of them put their own spin on it, you know? So I say there's not one better than the other. Explore them all. Because like I said, when you're doing healings on someone, one technique might not work for this individual. So you want to be able to have a knapsack of different techniques that you could use at any given moment for any given situation. You understand? So yeah, that's Mama Takata. And Mama Takata was the one that put the price tag on it. Now I know this might be a little controversial for some of you Reiki people out there, but it's truth. It's truth, and I'm gonna keep it real. Mama Takata didn't let you take any notes. Even when it came to the Reiki symbols, everything had to be memorized. She didn't play. Now, also, she was a businesswoman. So like I said, even the story of Dr. Usui with the Jesus thing, it's very highly unlikely that Dr. Usui was a Christian. If anything, maybe a Zen or a Shinto priest. And it's also been proven that he did not go to the University of Chicago either. But she, Dr. Takata made her own exciting story to sensationalize, to sensationalize certain things because she knew the mindset of Westerners. They respected universities, they respected their Jesus. We're gonna throw all that in. You know what I mean? Because this is important stuff, this Reiki, and I want this stuff to get to these Westerners. So she knew the psychology of us here, all right? But also she knew how we valued money, you know? So she said, like, if you're going to get these teachings, I'm gonna put a price tag to it. So you could vibe this because this is what you guys value. So traditionally in the 80s, the Reiki class would be $150 for Reiki 1, 500 for Reiki 2, and to become a Reiki master, $10,000. Um, One of my old teachers, she was from the old school, so she had to pay $10,000 out of her pocket to become a Reiki master. Now, a lot of the Reiki teachers after the Mama Takata transition, they started to question her price tag because you could see the majority of people in the New Age community that were becoming Reiki masters were, I'm gonna have to say truthfully, middle class, white, up-to-date women. You know, you did not really have a diversity of Reiki masters back then. You know, a lot of say somebody from the hood that didn't have, was just getting by trying to do their thing and was really interested in Reiki could not become a Reiki master back then. You know, so you had a lot of teachers later that said, "Hey, hold on, wait a minute, we gotta put this price tag down, so this stuff can be readily available for everyone." And that's why, like in the 90s, when that price tag started to be challenged, you started seeing the diversity of Reiki reaching more people of color, per se. You know what I mean? So that's kind of more of the history of Reiki that I wanted to give you so you could have a background. Could we get a picture of Dr. Hayashi and then Dr. Yusui too so people could see who I was talking to? But also, just to let you know that energy healing, pranic, healing with energy is not something that just is dealing with Japan itself. We know that energy healing was worldwide. You had the Hanuna tradition. I'm saying it right, from Hawaii, which they had their own version of Reiki, different places around the world. So let's not get it twisted to think that the universal life force energy healing system is just it came out of Japan. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's always been around. And you always have people dealing with different ways to channel this life force energy. Okay? So, like with that, I'm gonna get some rappy blowing up my nose for a second, and then I'm gonna answer some of y'all questions, and then I'm going to go to doing the initiation for my friends here. At that point, I'm gonna end the video because it's kind of boring, unless you want to see me watch me do some invisible things over their head and different stuff like that. We'll keep the initiation for people when you see me, if you want to see me do an initiation for y'all. And I charge whatever is donation. So if you ever want to come to Boston and just give me a donation, and if you don't have money, that's fine too. You know what I mean? It's all good. You will not be turned away. Okay? So, Thunder Voice. Or, Casey, can you pull up some rapping up my nose, please? Yes, please, for me. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. And rape or hape is sacred tobacco medicine. It's very good for getting mucus and phlegm out your system. Very good if people have respiratory issues, asthma. At the 2020 Ascension Conference in Brooklyn, New York, there was a woman that was wheezing. I gave her some rape. She started breathing normal again. You know, it's good for decalcification of the pineal gland. Gets more lucid dreams and stuff. Opens up your nadis, your meridian pathways, your chakras. If you feel like there's negative energy around you, it gets that off of you. If you're tired, it also has the sense of grounding you, but also giving you energy at the same time. Thank you, sister. Love that song. That's the Eagle Free going there? Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful music. Thank you, sister.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you, kiss. Okay, now I'll take the camera down so I can answer these people's questions. Thank you, Mike, so much. I hope it be filmed. I appreciate you. Okay, let's read these questions real quick. In the comments, get back to people. Okay. First comment we have, much love, brother. Much love to you, higher dimensions. Let me blow my nose real quick. Yeah, I see all the screens not come out. Blowing shit up their nose. No, it's not cocaine, motherfucker. Just for y'all to know. Well, I never took a cocaine, but for what people have done cocaine and I've given to them, they say, damn, this shit is good as cocaine. I had an FOI, brother, from the 2020. No, it's hot. For the record. Afro old school dude, Lou Malcolm X and OG. I'm not gonna say his name, but he hustling together. He's like, listen, man, this is better than cocaine. He kept on saying that the whole 2020 come. It's natural, by the way, just to let you know. You know what I mean? Y'all know Dooley. Ain't Trickster coming out before me. All right. Chill out, Legba, chill out. All right. I respect Legba. All right. Yeah, thank you. All right, thank you, Legba. I ain't fucking, I'll shade to that one. I ain't fucking with him. All right. All right, now, okay. I had a transformative experience with mescaline. See, I'm so damn old school. How you keep the thing there? But mescaline last night, still processing things. Happy to see this live video go up. Man, at that conference, sister, first of all, I'm glad you had a beautiful experience with mescaline. Acacia, I might need you for a minute because I don't have that much experience with the cactus. I got to sit with Papa more. You know what I mean? The cactus is grandfather. You know, for those who know Baba Ayahuasca, we always talk about the mother, but also balance out with the father.
Right.
And the father also helps open up that heart chakra. So a lot of the brothers, especially I like to do a lot of work with, my heart goes into a lot of prison work. You know, the first time I started doing some prison work was with my great friend. I haven't seen her in years. That was the first year. That was the first time I met the Dalai Lama.
Oh.
Yeah, the Dalai Lama came to this sangha that I used to go to. Did I tell you about when I first met? In case you first met Dalai Lama, it was deep, yo. He was a couple of feet from me. He was on this porch, right? He was on the porch, right? And my father was with me. God bless my father, but my father could get very conservative sometimes. So I was there with my pop, and I seen me and my father in my mind's eye. Mm-hmm. If my father went with me, we would have been sitting down drinking tea with the Dalai Lama. Wow. I seen it. Because something told me, yo, Dalai Lama, in my mind's eye, like, because he had all his groupies there. And I got to tell you the dream. I had a very lucid dream with Dalai Lama, too. All the groupies was there, all his main ones crowding him, and he's on the porch. And I'm leaning on the tree, sitting there, my dad. And I was like, yo, we about to have tea with the Dalai Lama. And my father knows me. He knew, he felt that issue energy about to come out. Yeah. My father looked at me and said, chill out. All right? So I had to, my dad, I was like, oh, damn. All right, man, chill out. My papa whipped my ass out here for me. I don't give a fuck how old you are. That's your daddy. You got to respect him. Yeah. So I'll shade to that. But like, if I was by myself that day, Me and Dalai Lama would be having tea. But Dalai Lama see me, I just gave it a head nod, he gave it back. And I realized he gave me a transfer initiation there. Just mentally.
Wow.
Sometimes you don't gotta go through the whole flowery shit.
Right.
Trust me. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's deep, you know. But I remember I seen this wonderful woman. Her name is they call her the Venerable Rabina Curtin, you know. And she doesn't go with that title. She'll never call herself venerable like that. She'll like, yeah, I'm just Rabina, you know.
Yeah.
And see this video documentary about her. It's called Chasing Buddha. I love that documentary. And just the music on it. You got my homegirl. I'm getting goosebumps again. Oh boy. Oh boy. Because I'm just thinking about Alice Coltrane.
Yeah.
So they got her music playing in the background throughout the video.
Yeah.
And got the album being played in the background, Journey to Satsananda. Beautiful album. And I have this out of print book that my father gave me talking about Alice Coltrane's spiritual experiences, because you got to know who Alice Coltrane and John Coltrane were. John Coltrane was Arsar. He was Osiris. You got to know the archetypes of these people. You know what I mean? Yo, John Coltrane was deep, and that was my real love for jazz. Was Alice Coltrane, John Coltrane. You were looking literally at Asar and Aset. Alice Coltrane was Aset. You know, she was another daughter of Aset. We already talked about Whitney Houston.
Right.
You could put Alice Coltrane on too if you want to invoke that Aset energy. You know what I mean? Okay, I ain't gotta let y'all see that nasty shit. Green shit coming out of my ooh wee. But that rappy boy. So Alice Coltrane, John Coltrane, if y'all don't know his history, my most favorite album by him is A Love Supreme. And John Coltrane was, dealing with heroin. Heroin was a big thing in the jazz community at that era. You know, it's like all these guys talking about taking Percocet and shit. I'm like, to popping these pills, these young guys, man, they on the right path. They know there's something shaman in them, but they taking the wrong medicine.
Right.
No one did. They don't have the elders to tell them, yeah, you getting turned up, but get some turned up on and go deep with the mushrooms. Get turned up with that cactus medicine. Get turned up with that ayahuasca. Get turned up with the real teaching plants and fungi.
Right.
You know, they just need guidance. They're already there. They know what they, you know what I mean? They know they on that shaman shit.
Yeah.
You know, like one young group that I could think of is like, my homie Joey Badass, my homie Capital Steez. And Capital Steez comes to me many times, especially when I'm writing the rhymes, man. He a deep dude. He's a time traveler too, by the way. What's that other group, man? They ill, man. These young dudes, man. I can't think of their name. But they deep. They deal with the psychedelics too. I forget they name. You probably know. Flatbush Zombies.
yeah.
Them too. See, that's the era. Them that's the era. Like Joey Badass, Steez, all of them started coming out around the same time. And them young dudes, they on it. They on it. They on it. You know, I seen them. I was like, damn, them young cats, they on it, yo. So they know what time it is.
Yeah.
But back to Alice Coltrane and John Coltrane. John Coltrane had the album A Love Supreme, and he said that he was gonna deal with those entities, those lower entities of addiction, with the heroin. And he said he locked himself in this room, and he said, I'm not going to leave this room. No one open this door. I don't care what I'm going through. I don't care if I'm screaming, whatever. Do not open this door. I'm going to deal with these demons here. And he kicked his addiction that night. And from that addiction came the album A Love Supreme,
Wow.
which was a whole album dedicated to God, to the Great Spirit. All right. One of my favorite albums. And John Coltrane was on a mission to awaken people through the power of sound. He studied with master musicians around the world to refine his sound. So you could look at the earliest stages of him rocking out with Miles Davis and all of them to where his later years, where some people said, "Oh, that jazz is too wild. I can't understand that jazz." But that's when he was going deeper within the aspects of jazz and using sound as a tool for enlightenment. Okay, that's just a side note. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, it was just the comment there that took me there. But yes, thank you, sister, for your transformative experience with the mescaline. Do y'all know that cactus medicine mescaline was used for the couples therapy back in the day, MDMA? And that they was having so much success that they had to keeping people together, that these people were coming out of work. No, we got to get that off. You know, we're actually building too many relationships. We're having good relationships here because, again, that mescaline opens up that heart and you start to have that real open conversation with your partner. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the next comment. Peace, peace. Young King says, peace, peace. Peace to you, brother. Amir El Bay says, respect. Respect to you. Another one says, peace, Dooley. And I'm making this new video. I've been making a lot of videos on my lives on my Facebook page, but I have been neglecting my people on YouTube. So I'm sorry. They got at me at this psychedelic conference this weekend. Like, Dooley, you need to make some new videos. So I'm sorry. I've been going through my own inner transformation and all that, dealing with me. So I'm going to be putting some more videos out for y'all because I love y'all. Okay. Okay. Some more comments or questions here. Respect to the God. Yeah, man. Peace to the tribe. Frank says truth. Anything else here? What was the name of that crystal again? The one on your head. Can you spell it? I like to look into it. Thanks. Is the Ming Evening Zoo crystal. And like I've been, huh? Yi 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 Ming Zhu. Yi Ming Zhu. And I'm learning more about this crystal through Acacia. We've been taught through our teacher Baba Kalindi that the trans-dimensional crystals that he gave some of his students in the Yi Ming Zhu crystal special ed. I'm not making excuse for that. I got embarrassed like that. I remember when they put me in special ed. I think the third, fourth grade. I'm sorry. You was gonna say something, Keisha? Yes. Huh? After the live. Okay. And that's why we got to get over these traumas. Traumas start very young for us, and even past life traumas. Because I was skipping school like in the second grade, because I went to a ghetto ass elementary school called the Etrata Elementary School, and they didn't have a fence. So like during recess time, I would literally walk off the grounds, and because it was a playground a little farther down, and I would just be by myself on the swing and shit, and it scared the fuck out of me because they would not call my grandmother and say, "Hey, your son wasn't, your grandson left school and didn't come back," and I'm like 6, 7, and I have children now, and that scared the fuck out of me, really looking at that, because somebody could have kidnapped me or whatever, but I'm protected. I know now, but still, that just shows you how sometimes, in the ghetto, how they don't really care. You know what I mean? And so I was skipping school, second, third grade, thinking I'm Spider-Man, going into the vents and shit, like just wandering throughout the school. And so around third, fourth grade, I didn't know how to read or anything, and I remember one day, okay, may see here? Hold on one second. Lindy says a shift is coming down right now, so be prepared. Yeah. So Kalindi, Keisha wrote on here on the notes on a white marker, which is deep, because I can't see shit. So I looked at it like, wait a minute, this is a cool thing you do. Well, she's saying that Baba Kalindi said that it's a shift coming down right now, so be prepared. All right, you heard it from Acacia. Let y'all know this is that time we're in. He told us this is the final battleground, and he was reminding us about the galactic history and all that. So definitely, we're gonna talk about a little of these things on a video, a live video that me and Acacia is gonna do later. That's gonna be a treat for y'all. So okay. So this is the peak roll. All right. Give thanks to King Tut here. You know he had the lotus flower and stuff in his tomb. All right. So he gave us the transdimensional crystal. He gave us the Ming Zhu. Okay. Ming 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 Yizu. Ming Yizu. All right. Crystal. Huh?
The Chinese.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. From what I've learned from Acacia, that these crystals were passed down to the Chinese royalty. All right, and just learned as well that it was made. This was the material that was the crystal that was made for the emerald tablets. All right, so this is deep, but this is used, if I'm correct, Acacia, to store information when you're going through these realms. You're able to store this information in this crystal and literally go back to that place, and come and visit back that realm. So if you went to this realm, like Baba Kalindi would say, you would go to the realm of the martial artists. So you'd be up there chilling with Bruce Lee or whoever, or Damo, and you would be able to have audience with them and sit with them. There would be the realm of the musicians. So you go to the realm where Beethoven is at, and Bach and Tupac and Jimi Hendrix and all that, and download different new ways to play instruments, and come back and bring that information here to this third dimensional realm. So this is it serves a lot of different things. I learned that this crystal can make you invisible. One of my good friends told me a situation with that where it cloaked him. He needed to be cloaked at that moment, because some serious stuff was going down, and literally it cloaked him where these individuals couldn't see him. So yeah, look into it. I learned that the person that put Baba onto mushrooms was the one that really taught us a lot about. What was the guy's name, Acacia? I forgot the brother's name. I'm sorry. Baba's first person that gave him the mushroom and taught Peter Andreas. Peter Andreas. Look up the brother. You gotta learn. This is the brother that gave Baba Kalindi his first mushroom. And I was very honored to read his book. This book is very rare that Peter wrote, and it's only circulated amongst his students. So let's go to the next question or comment. Okay. Okay, here. Okay, got it. Yi Mingzu. Yep, Yi Mingzu. I appreciate that. No problem, brother Tex Rock. Let's see, what's the next comment here? Have you ever heard of spiritual twitches? I get them all the time. Yeah, we got that question the other night at the Psychedelic Shack with our brother Sincere Seven. Big up to him. Love that brother from Detroit. He said he noticed that as well with certain medicines. I get the twitches sometime myself with Bufo, and a lot of times it's your physical body adjusting to a higher vibration. All right, your body is adjusting to the higher frequencies that you're encountering or you're going to. So especially with the Bufo, the toad medicine, where you go through those dimensional gates at the speed of light, a lot of times your body is adjusting, your physical body is adjusting to such a high vibrational frequency. Okay, crystals are nature computers. Yes, they are. Haha, yes, they are. That's why some people don't understand how, like, they look at, and that's the arrogance of the European, our younger brother. I don't blame him, but he's still going through his evolution. One way I could even support that statement is that there's a book called The Mutant Down Under. where there's this woman, white European woman, who, for the first time, the Aboriginals in Australia she was the first European to go on their sacred walkabout. So it's showing you that the great shift is happening, and even the European, our younger brother, is going through his shift and his evolution. Like the Hopi prophecy, this is going to be the rainbow tribe for all of us to come together to make this next shift happen. Okay. Okay, but yeah, they don't usually, a lot of European brothers and sisters, they look at this Darwin evolution thing, which I don't abide by. That's not the indigenous people's story. We come from other planets before we came here to Pachamama, to planet Earth. So we know that we dealt with high technology way before this current era. We could speak upon Atlantis, we could speak upon Lemuria and all that, which they used a lot of their technology with crystals. It's just that people don't know how to use the crystals. That's what Baba Kalini was teaching us, using 20 grams and beyond to open up the information through the transdimensional crystal. Like Acacia is saying, when you go high with that and you use the crystal, you see the holograms that come out, the information in the crystal. That's where the crystal skulls in South America comes in. The shamans left, encoded their information in the crystal skulls, and the next initiate, their top student, they would give that crystal skull to the next one that was supposed to take their place. Okay. So without a doubt, yes, high computers. What else? Which crystals are y'all talking about? Do you sun gaze, brother? I do, and I really feel my crown. Oh yes, I sun gaze all the time. There was this guy named when I first heard about sun gazing, it was almost 20 years ago. With this guy named Art, he went by the acronym of HRM, I believe, Hari something, but he was a breatharian. Who stopped eating through the art of sun gazing. And the last I heard from him, NASA was trying to study him because they wanted to learn how to get the science down where they didn't have to eat, so they could take longer voyages into space without worrying about the aid of food. Last thing I know, no one heard of him no more. It was another brother, black brother, Nats, a melanated brother who is breatharian, and I remember in his interviews, he's like, nah, they're not NASA, who all these people were trying to interview him. He's like, no, you're not getting a hold of me. So yeah, there's a lot of things you could do with the sun gazing, and you can literally become like a plant and become photosynthetic, like what's it, photosynthesis? Photosynthetic, on the level of taking in a whole new way of eating, and thus becoming a breatharian. They talked about that, people that could do that, and the autobiography of the yogi with Yogananda, the woman that didn't have to eat, the saint that didn't have to eat, the man that could bilocate, be in several places at one time. There's many things to us that we don't really are aware of yet. And that's why you got to do your own inner work for yourself, your own experiments and stuff. Okay, so yeah, that's mostly all the questions there, and comments. Thank you. I'm now going to cut this video off, and I'm going to cut. So that's good symbol right there. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut this off so I could do this Reiki attunement with my good friends here, and we'll pick up later. All right, because I'm getting hungry too. We ain't eating no breakfast tonight. So, but y'all take care, and peace to you. All right, what's going on with this now? I was trying to stop. Okay, yeah. Book me at Abdul K. Wilkins. I have some good lives on there if you ever want to check out. And thank you for listening. All right, and take care of yourself. Peace and love. Now, how I turn this thing off here? Okay. You want streaming? Yes.